You finally walked away, and you probably think they moved on without a second thought. You picture them happy, completely unaffected by your absence. But beneath their flawless facade, an absolute psychological meltdown is silently unfolding. Most people ignore the invisible science of a toxic brain in crisis. 99% miss the last part of this video, risking getting sucked right back into the trauma simply because they don't recognize the desperate signs of a narcissist's total mental collapse. Ego starvation. When you finally pack your bags, block their number, and make the terrifying decision to walk away, your brain tells you a very specific, deeply painful lie. Because they treated you with such cold, calculated indifference at the end, you assume they simply do not care. You imagine them seamlessly moving on, finding a new target, and living a perfectly happy life without you. But behavioral science reveals a completely different, almost shocking reality. You did not just break up with them, you completely severed their primary psychological life support. The person who acted like they didn't need you is actually entering a state of absolute, profound neurochemical starvation, and their brain is beginning to panic. To understand why your departure is so devastating, we have to look closely at the fundamental architecture of a highly toxic, narcissistic personality. They do not operate in relationships the way a healthy human brain does. A healthy person seeks mutual connection, shared empathy, and emotional vulnerability. But the narcissistic brain is entirely built around a singular, desperate goal: ego preservation. Deep beneath their arrogant, flawless public mask lies a fragile, terrified, and deeply inadequate core. They use your emotional reactions, your tears, your anger, your desperate attempts to fix the relationship as external validation to prove that they exist and have ultimate power. In the realm of behavioral psychology, we call this dynamic the pursuit of negative social currency. When they provoke you and you react, their brain receives a massive, concentrated hit of dopamine. You are literally their neurochemical supply. When you walk away and impose strict, unyielding no contact, you are not just ending a romantic or platonic dynamic. You are abruptly shutting off the valve to their dopamine reservoir. Their brain, which has become completely addicted to the predictable cycle of abusing you and extracting an emotional response, is suddenly left staring into an agonizing, silent void. This triggers an immediate and violent physiological crisis. The moment they realize your silence is permanent, their amygdala, the threat detection center of the brain, sounds a catastrophic alarm. To a fragile ego, a complete lack of attention feels like literal physical death. Their nervous system cannot process your indifference. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, begins to flood their bloodstream. They become hypervigilant and intensely paranoid. They expected you to chase them. They expected you to write long, emotional letters begging for closure. By denying them that expected script, you have created a massive cognitive glitch. The narrative where they are the all-powerful puppet master completely shatters in real time. As this internal pressure builds, the carefully constructed mask they wear for the world begins to slip. You must understand that maintaining a charming, flawless persona requires an astronomical amount of cognitive energy. We call this high self-monitoring. When their nervous system is overflowing with the panic of your abandonment, they lose the cognitive bandwidth required to keep the mask securely in place. Their baseline behavior becomes highly erratic. People around them might start noticing sudden flashes of unprovoked anger, intense mood swings, or bizarre, impulsive decisions. The psychological foundation is cracking because the architect is completely out of emotional fuel. This is the anatomy of a severe narcissistic injury. It is not just a bruised ego, it is a fundamental threat to their core identity. When you walked away without their permission, you took back the emotional remote control. You proved that they are not omnipotent, and worse, you proved that you are perfectly capable of surviving without their chaotic presence. This realization is a bitter, toxic pill that their mind simply cannot digest. They are forced to sit alone with the quiet, terrifying reality of their own emptiness. The silence you left behind acts as a massive mirror, and for the very first time, they are forced to look directly at the monster they have been trying so desperately to outrun. It is incredibly common to underestimate the sheer gravity of this silent breakdown. You might check their social media and see them posting smiling photos, looking like they're having the time of their life. You have to recognize that this is a highly calculated, desperate performance. In behavioral science, we know that people who are genuinely happy do not need to aggressively broadcast their joy to an audience. Those curated posts are aimed directly at you, designed to provoke the very reaction you are currently withholding. Behind the screen, they are obsessively checking to see if you viewed the story. They are not thriving, they are putting on a frantic, exhausting theatrical production for an audience of one. Behavioral escalation. When the silent starvation reaches a critical threshold, the toxic brain enters a highly predictable and incredibly volatile phase known as an extinction burst. This is a fundamental concept in behavioral psychology. When a behavior that previously yielded a massive reward suddenly stops working, the individual does not simply give up and accept defeat. Instead, they radically escalate the behavior. They will try exponentially harder to force the system to yield the dopamine they are craving. Because your silence has effectively starved them, their attempts to elicit a reaction from you will become desperate, erratic, and sometimes deeply vindictive. This is the hallmark of a mind losing its grip on reality. The most common manifestation of this extinction burst is the dreaded smear campaign. When they realize they can no longer control you, they will immediately pivot to trying to control how other people see you. They will spin elaborate, highly convincing narratives painting you as the abuser, the unstable one, or the ultimate villain. To the untrained eye, this looks like a display of absolute power and dominance. But if you decode the underlying behavioral mechanics, it is the exact opposite. A smear campaign is a giant glowing red flag of profound psychological panic. They are frantically trying to recruit flying monkeys to validate their fractured ego because they are terrified the truth of their abuse will be exposed. During this phase, you might also experience the whiplash of aggressive hoovering. This is when they completely change tactics and attempt to suck you back into the relationship using manufactured vulnerability. They might send a late-night text apologizing for everything, or invent a sudden medical emergency, or claim they have had a massive spiritual awakening. They will use the exact language they know you have been desperate to hear for years. But you must look past the words and analyze the neurochemical motivation. This is not genuine remorse. This is a predator testing the perimeter fence for a weak spot. They are throwing emotional bait into the water, desperately waiting to see if you will finally bite. If you remain an unmovable, blank slate against these tactics, their cognitive dissonance reaches an agonizing peak. They are caught between two conflicting realities: their grandiose belief that they are utterly irresistible, and the cold, hard fact that you are completely ignoring them. To resolve this mental agony, their behavior will start to glitch. They will rapidly cycle through manipulation tactics. In a single week, they might threaten you, then beg you, then publicly insult you, then send you a lavish gift. This frantic, chaotic cycling is the absolute clearest evidence that their internal operating system is severely crashing. They are throwing every behavioral tool against the wall because nothing is working anymore. It is fascinating to observe how their complete lack of emotional regulation begins to bleed into other areas of their life. The mental collapse cannot be contained just to their obsession with you. Because their nervous system is entirely hijacked by your absence, their performance at work may begin to slip. They might start burning bridges with longtime friends who dare to question their erratic behavior. The fragile network of superficial relationships they have built starts to disintegrate because they are too consumed by their narcissistic injury to maintain the charm. The absolute chaos they use to inflict solely on you is now spilling over into their public reality, and everyone is finally starting to see the cracks. You have to understand the immense psychological fortitude it takes for you to witness this storm and do absolutely nothing. Your biological instinct is to defend your reputation against the smear campaign or to respond to their fabricated emergencies. But the moment you engage, you instantly reset their clock. You hand them the exact neurochemical life raft they are drowning for. By refusing to defend yourself, by maintaining an ironclad posture of absolute emotional neutrality, you are forcing them to drown in the consequences of their own toxic actions. You are denying them the friction they need to stay psychologically afloat. Their escalation is not a sign of your weakness. It is the ultimate proof of your devastating power. Eventually, the exhaustion of the extinction burst becomes too much for even the most pathological brain to endure. The human body simply cannot sustain a state of high alert, cortisol-drenched panic indefinitely. When all their manipulative tactics, their lies, and their hoovering attempts fail to extract a single drop of energetic supply from you, their ego experiences a total, catastrophic collapse. They are forced to retreat, deeply wounded, and fundamentally changed by the encounter. They will be forced to seek out a new, easier target, but the psychological scar of your silent, unyielding departure will haunt their subconscious forever. You broke the toxic cycle, and in doing so, you permanently broke their spell. Ultimate sovereignty. To fully master this incredible level of behavioral control, we must shift the focus completely away from their broken, collapsing ego and center it entirely on your own neurological healing. Walking away from a highly toxic dynamic is not just a tactical breakup. It is a profound act of biological self-preservation. When you are deeply entangled with a narcissist, your own fight or flight system is violently activated for months or even years. Your heart races, your sleep is destroyed, and your primal instinct is constantly scanning the room for the next threat. Choosing to walk away and remain completely silent is the ultimate neurohack. You are actively signaling to your own vagus nerve that the war is finally over. So many survivors remain trapped in the agonizing aftermath of a toxic relationship because they are desperately waiting for an apology or for the other person to understand the deep pain they caused. This is a massive, incredibly dangerous psychological trap. You are essentially holding your own physiological healing hostage, waiting for a fundamentally broken person to hand you the key. When you choose the path of permanent, unyielding silence, you are radically accepting that their closure is entirely irrelevant to your peace. You are making the executive decision that you do not need their validation, their remorse, or their understanding to know your own immense worth. Embracing this quiet, powerful distance fundamentally rewires your brain through the brilliant process of neuroplasticity. Every single time you suppress the urge to check their social media, every time you choose to breathe deeply instead of defending yourself against a rumor, you are actively building new, highly resilient neural pathways. You are training your brain to completely decouple from chaotic, toxic stimuli. In the past, their actions absolutely controlled your reactions. Now, you are inserting a massive, beautiful pause between their trigger and your response. This pause is the exact space where true, unshakable sovereignty lives. You are reclaiming the absolute mastery of your own brilliant mind. As you settle into this new, elevated baseline of emotional regulation, the physiological changes in your body become absolutely undeniable. The chronic, heavy tension in your jaw and your shoulders begins to physically melt away. Your sleep architecture repairs itself, allowing you to enter deep, restorative cycles of rest that your body has been begging for. Your cognitive bandwidth, which was previously hijacked by endless rumination, anxiety, and imaginary arguments, is suddenly completely freed up. You possess a new, vibrant, cutting-edge clarity that allows you to focus aggressively on your own goals, your physical health, and the people who actually deserve your beautiful energy. You must recognize that walking away without a word is the ultimate display of high-value social posturing. In a culture that highly encourages endless oversharing, public venting, and dramatic confrontations, a person who can absorb a deep betrayal, process it internally, and silently remove access to their life is incredibly rare and deeply intimidating. Your stoicism commands absolute respect. It signals to everyone observing, including your own subconscious, that your physical presence is a highly exclusive privilege, not a basic right. When that privilege is abused, the access is permanently and swiftly revoked. No warnings, no dramatic ultimatums, just the undeniable consequence of your sudden absence. You do not have to be the detective in your own life anymore. You do not have to obsess over whether they are truly miserable or if they have magically changed for someone else. Behavioral science guarantees that personalities built on extreme manipulation and a total lack of empathy do not magically heal overnight simply because they changed partners. They carry their chaotic, miserable neurochemistry with them wherever they go. The mental collapse you initiated by walking away is just a preview of the cyclical tragedy that is their entire existence. You successfully unlatched your vibrant life from a sinking ship, and that is the absolute only truth that matters. You are the ultimate, fiercely capable architect of your emotional reality. You never have to compromise your dignity by screaming, begging, or stepping into the toxic mud to fight for your basic respect. True power is not the ability to destroy someone else with your words. True power is the absolute, unshakable discipline to safely deny them the satisfaction of hearing your voice ever again. Let their fragile, collapsing ego fight its own desperate battles in the dark. Step confidently into the beautiful, quiet space you have bravely created for yourself, knowing that your peace is permanently secured and the absolute truth of your radiant worth is completely undeniable. Be honest. Which specific manipulation tactic did they try to use when you finally stopped responding? Share your experience in the comments below. Let's decode their behavior together and celebrate your silence.